Hey guys, and welcome to my Proving Grounds Endless Healer Resto Shaman Perspective Guide. To begin with, I've got my glyphs and my talents being Astral Shift, Earth Grab Totem, Totemic Persistence, Ancestral Swiftness, Conductivity and Elemental Blast. My major glyphs being Totemic Recall, Telluric Currents, and Capacitor. Wave 1 begins with a Flamecaller and 2 Rippers. The Flamecaller you're going to want to focus down first and interrupt as much as you can. Once he's dead, you can then hex the Ripper that isn't being focused down by your AI group first. The Rippers are the only things that can be effectively crowd controlled, with the exception of stuns in this instance. The main strategy you're going to want to use for healing this is keeping Riptide up on your tank as much as possible, as well as your Earth Shield, and basically putting down Healing Rain and keeping it up for as long as possible while DPSing with Lightning Bolt. This will also help keep your mana up throughout the fight. You can pop Mana Tide whenever you want, essentially whenever you feel like you're going to need it, otherwise your mana should stay fairly steady. Wave 2 begins with a Hive Singer, and slightly to the left of the original group. You're going to want to focus down the Hive Singer first, and then work on the Aqualite, who will put a debuff on people throughout its time alive that basically makes them blow up, knock everyone back, and do a fair bit of damage. You can handle this on yourself, if it is on you, by running away and popping Astral Shift to, I guess, soak up the damage and avoiding having to use another Dispel, just to kind of conserve mana a bit, but it really shouldn't be an issue, at least with these early Aqualites. You're going to want a Healing Tide around score 120 to 125. You can, during this time, let the Hive Singer cast if you want. I continued to interrupt through it just because I got a little bit nervous, but you can work that how you want. Wave 3 deals with 2 of the Tunnelers. They put a debuff on various people called Chomp, and basically it deals bleed damage until they are healed over 90%. To deal with this, you're going to want to pop Ascendance at around 210 to 213, just to kind of get rid of that fairly quickly, and by the time Ascendance has ended, one of the Tunnelers should be pretty much dead. Wave 4 is possibly the hardest to deal with. To compensate, you're going to want to pop Bloodlust, or Heroism, Stormlash, and Fire Elemental, and try and tag one of the Aqualites, preferably the large one, with Flame Shock, just to attract your Elemental to it. There will be 2 Aqua Bombs going out fairly close together during this time. Basically, you're going to want to try and dispel the melee first. If you can't manage that, then just be prepared for some pretty heavy healing, and if it's on you and somebody else, dispel them and you run out. Pop Astral Shift, like I said. You can use Health Stones if you pick them up at the beginning to also help yourself deal with this. Once one of the Aqualites at least is dead, you can also recall your Fire Elemental, although I didn't really see too much of a point in this, but I mean, you can do that if you want. Wave 5 has another Hive Singer. You're going to want to focus him down and interrupt him. At around score 425 to 430, you're going to want to pop Healing Tide again, to compensate for the damage done by the Conqueror when he enrages. You'll also have a little baby Tunneler that's just kind of hanging around and chomping people, and you'll want to, have Healing Tide up to deal with him as well. Wave 6, you'll want to have Capacitor Totem up at about, you want to pop that maybe at like score 500. Have Grounding Totem up to deal with any casts, and Ascend at around 510 to 513, just to deal with all the damage that's going out. There will be Aqua Bombs, and there is a Tunneler in this group. This is kind of the most mixed group you're probably going to get. But they really don't hit that hard, so it's fairly easy to deal with just with Ascendants. Wave 7, again, another Hive Singer. You're going to want to focus it down and interrupt it as much as possible, and pop Spirit Link around 630 to 633, just to cope with Conqueror's Enrage once again. The tank will get hit fairly hard and it will get kind of scary at this point, but it's really not all that difficult once again to deal with if you can expect what's coming, and as long as you have Spirit Link up. For Wave 8, you're going to want to pop Capacitor Totem again back where to the left or the right. There, just kind of get it in the middle of that group once you learn where they spawn to try and mass interrupt them. Then pick one and focus it down as much as possible. Because these guys do hit fairly hard. Grounding Totem once again is really handy, and you can pop your Healing Tide around 730 to 735 to mitigate some of that damage and heal everybody back up to full. Wave 9 is probably the next hardest group to down. Once again, pop your Storm Rush, pop your Fire Elemental, focus down that Hive Singer and interrupt it as much as possible. There will be an Aqualite to deal with, but once again, if it's just on you, just run out. If you're able to, pop Astral Shift. You can also Dispel yourself. I mean, mana really isn't too bad to have at this point. I mean, by now I had just popped my Mana Totem again, so I was doing okay for mana at this point. It wasn't too hard to keep dispelling. You can also pop Ascendance at about 810 to 813 just to, I guess, heal everybody up throughout this fight, throughout this wave. Wave 10 is stupidly easy, and I guess it's a bit of a sigh of relief. You can Spirit Link at about 930 to 935 to deal with the Conqueror's Enrage. There's a Flame Caller, just focus it, interrupt it down. You can Cap Totem, you can Grounding Totem, and I believe there's an Aqualite there who just puts his little debuff on and you need to dispel it. It's really not that difficult to deal with. And you should at this point have Spirit Link up again, so easy peasy, and yay, Endless Healer.